This is where the pilot sits. The pilot is in command and responsible for the aircraft and all people on board. The pilot flies the aircraft. This is where the co-pilot sits. The co-pilot is there to help the pilot fly the aircraft. The engineer sits in this central location, and his primary responsibility is engine management. The navigator sits here with access to maps and gauges. The first thing you want to do when you enter the 377 cockpit is turn on your APU. The APU is a generator that provides electricity to the aircraft without draining the battery. Next, check your fuel and payload. While you can load and unload individual passengers and cargo areas in real time, you can also use the presets. Here we will give ourselves a full flight of passengers and half fuel. Here is your total weight, and here is your center of gravity. The Boeing 377 can load up to 12,000 pounds in its forward cargo area. Even the luggage from a full flight of passengers only partially fills this cargo area. Notice, however, if we start to load up cargo in the forward bay, watch the center of gravity move forward. These tools are here to help you make loading the aircraft as easy or as detailed as you want. Now that we have electrical power, let's prepare the engines for startup. These are your cowl flaps. Opening them allows more air to flow through and cool the engine. Always keep cowl flaps fully opened when running the engines and taxiing on the ground. Before starting, crack your throttle open. Everything you need to start the engines is right here in the center. These switches are your mags, which give the engine its spark. Here we select the engine. Here is where we prime it with some fuel. This button engages the starter. And hold this boost button to give the engine extra spark until the engine turns over and begins to run on its own. Now that the engine is running, make sure the idle is at about 1,000 RPM. Idling the engine too low can cause the spark plugs to foul up with oil. Repeat the same steps for the remaining 3 engines. Carburetor air temperature, also known as CAT, is simply the temperature of the air when it enters the engine. Keeping proper carburetor air temperature is critical. If it gets too cold, icing can occur. This is when you use your carb heat. While the turbo superchargers can cram a lot of air into these engines, they also dramatically heat up the air, as much as 100 degrees Celsius. And just like any old car engine, it produces the most power on a cold day. But you can control this air temperature, and to do so, use your intercooler flaps. Opening these flaps increases cooling power, lowering your air temperatures, but also increasing drag. Here is your ADI, also known as water injection. ADI injects water into the engine to keep it cool so you can push it harder. If you do not use ADI and apply high power, your engine will automatically dump more fuel into the cylinders to keep it cool. Under these conditions, the engines will produce black smoke. Don't be alarmed, the black smoke is simply excess unburnt fuel. However, 100% throttle is not advised unless the ADI is on. Your oil cooler flaps will automatically open and shut based on the oil temperature. If you wish, you can always override the system and manually control your oil cooler flaps. But for the most part, auto works great. If during the ground check you forget to turn your defroster on and conditions are right, the windows can fog up. It's pretty embarrassing if you have to sit on the ramp for 10 extra minutes to wait for your windows to clear. So use your defroster. The autopilot is simple and effective.
Autopilot on.
Turn the handle in the direction you want to go, adjust your desired pitch, or flick the switch to hold altitude.
Altitude, hold on.
The lights, as pretty as they are to look at, are self-explanatory. However, it's recommended to retract your landing lights after taking off, because they will cause unnecessary drag. Also, opening your ram air flaps will increase the airflow into the engine. Increasing the airflow with ram air helps to reduce the workload placed on your turbochargers. Captain, just remember, your crew is here to help you. They will be monitoring the systems. And if you want, hand over the turbo control to your engineer. That's what he's there for.
Okay, Captain. I have the turbos.
You're the captain, so enjoy your flight. A2A Simulations is proud to present the Wings of Silver Boeing 377 Stratocruiser with the Accu-sim technology expansion pack. Great power comes great responsibility. If you treat this aircraft right, it will take you all over the world.